was not late. It's 10:24. It's not 10:15.
10:20. It's when Tad walks on the stage. I'm told.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
We get Brad's birthday. He goes first.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We got that coming too.
On your birthday. Thank you. Off. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Here you go, Brad. You want to come up and get this or?
No, that's for you.
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah. No.
Turn it down, sweet son.
All right, Brad. Let's roll, buddy.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. You said the installs would end yesterday. Today's the last padded practice before you go home. What'd you get done yesterday? What do you want to get done out of this today?
Yeah, I thought the work was excellent yesterday, and really, I mean, you were at the practice. We're just trying to hit as many situations as possible, and that's what we'll do today. You know, we'll have a 2-minute drill. We'll have no huddle. We'll have a red zone competition. Then we'll have a extended team period in first, second, third, and fourth down. So we just want to hit as much situational work as we can today.
Follow-up, Mike is
I have no. I think he's fine to go.
Where?
Oh man.
Last day of practice, full day of practice. Can you tell us what you got out of training camp? What the successes that you've had?
Well, at the end of the day, it's about training the team, and I think the training's gone well. You know, I think just like anything, you know, the video has been exceptional, and just, you know, for teaching purposes. So I think we definitely hit the mark as far as particularly the fundamentals and technique work that you know, it's really this first time that all of us in this league had a chance to work. So I feel like you know, the volume of work in the areas of fundamentals and technique was good. You know, like anything we do, you know, the breakdown is education, application, and then regulation, evaluation. So the educational opportunity that we have out here, I think, has been really, really good, and I'm pointing more towards game management and just the heavy situational work, more competitive drills this year, more emphasis on run defense and, you know, the run blocking unit. So I mean, the things that we looked at from last year, try to improve on, increase, you know, the work is there, you know. So and just like yesterday's practice, and I'm very confident that today's work will be where it needs to be. And this is a part of why we train against each other, because I think the work is super competitive. You know, the pass rush versus the protection work is, you know, I don't think we can get better work, you know, anywhere. So that's been incredible for not only our defensive guys, but for our young linemen. So I mean, they have been tested extremely throughout the camp. You know, and yesterday was also an example of that. So just I like the work. We're not quite done yet. So, but I think this has been a good camp.
Mike, Todd Archer of the ESPN. You mentioned yesterday that Zach is a guy that's on the teaching reel for your players.
Yes.
On the other side of it, for DeMarcus Lawrence, is he a guy that you use as a focus defensively for those?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you talk about, you know, the fundamentals of football, and, you know, ball security is a #1 fundamental. I mean, if you're ranking them, ball extraction, you know, D-Law's career is a highlight tape. I mean, his ability to take the football away, you know, I mean, you talk about violent hands. He's obviously the way he plays with length. I mean, you look at his veteran experience, his instincts and awareness is obviously extremely high. This is his biggest workload of camp that I've seen him, you know, in the 3 years coming out here. So he's clearly in my view, has had his best training camp in the last 3 in Oxford that I've been a part of.
Those guys are measured by sacks a lot of times, right? But his importance to you guys seems to go beyond that.
Yeah, I think just like anything, and I think everybody does a good job of this, and, you know, it's the definition of, you know, destruction versus production. You know, so he's such a destructive player. And also he is a productive player when it comes in the area of big plays and tackles for losses and, you know, takeaway generation. And that's something he's been consistent, you know, throughout his career. But at the end of the day, I think it's like anything. When you look at players, you know, every one of these guys is a fine, good football player. You know, then there's great moments that they have, but the elite players make make the others around them better. And when you're consistently just, a player of destruction, you're creating other opportunities for other players.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Since you made the decision at kicker, how would you assess how Brandon has kicked?
I think Brandon's said, if you go back to the game, I think we talked about that a little bit in the walk-off the other day, but extremely, strong leg. I mean, his kickoffs are as strong as that I've seen. Loved his kickoffs. We've been really emphasizing, the operation because we're behind there, and as far as the number of reps and amount of work that we've been able to do. So the goal was to speed it up some. We hit the target. If anything, we were too fast on the one that he missed. So great, the production was obviously, but I thought the step of getting to where we need to get, in the operation of the battery, the snapper, holder, and kicker, I thought we definitely took a big step, against Jacksonville.
Do you think mentally he's going to handle everything? There's one thing that you got a veteran guy who knows the ups and downs, but he's never really done this before.
Well, I mean, I don't think he can come to a better place. I mean, we got the softest media in the world, and so, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So.
Brad.
Going back to Lee Law, Mike, he said last week that he felt like, as a 10-year guy, he felt like the COVID year gave him a reset in terms of his body and longevity. He didn't mention the broken foot the next year, but do you see a guy who doesn't look like a 10-year guy playing down the inside like that?
Yeah, I go back to the comment I said earlier. I think if because I get to see everything. I get to see it live, I get to see the video, and then I get to look at the GPS reports, and I can see the production, the evaluation reports, and everything. And I think clearly, I know clearly, in my opinion, based on all the numbers, this has been his most productive, highest level of workload capacity camp of the 3 years, that I've been coming out here.
Coach, Robbie Fewling, Dallas, Spectrum News 1 in Dallas, doing a profile on Kevontae Turpin. Can you just tell me about your first impressions of him and what he's meant to this team just going into this season? Well,
Terp's a rocket ship when the ball in his hand. I mean, that's one thing. Obviously, coming from his college days, he knows exactly where the end zone is, and he knows how to get there. So his big play production is unique. And he has to. He's still a young player, though. And that's the way I view him. And he's taking that next step so we can give him more opportunities. But just a dynamic player with the ball in his hand.
Piggyback on Turpin, he's taking some snaps and running back. Just talk about him at that size. I mean, he uses some snaps where him into the receiver.
I mean, I don't recall us talking about scheme up here, so I don't know. Okay. So I don't know what we're talking. Did that happen out here? Is it on video?
Yes, it's on video.
You got to give him the ball. Yeah. So, he'll be in the backfield. He'll be in the slot. He'll be in the that's all part. If you look at the whole receiver group, really the emphasis come out of last week, the install phase, was now to start moving everybody around. So, we did it Monday in the walkthrough today. So we're trying to create, opportunities for all these guys. So, he's not the only one that's moving around, but yes, got to get him the football.
Okay, just from a philosophical standpoint, we've talked about size. Can you keep two guys, Turp and Vaughn size on the team?
Yeah, I think just like anything. These decisions are really they were made back in player acquisition mode. So obviously, Turp came to campus. Was about the second week of training camp last year. So obviously had a great year as a returner, and we see. A lot of value in him to be, a more complete player. So it's really the responsibility of the system of offense to make sure when you have playmakers, if you don't have, things in your system of offense to highlight a unique skill set, then my opinion has always been you got to take a look at your system. So because and that's why we're big into the concept teach, particularly in the pass game, the pass game families, so how we can incorporate him in that. So because what you don't want him to be, and you don't want him to be just a certain personnel group when he goes into the game. Just he's got 5 plays that are totally highlighted, and no different than Deuce. I mean, you've watched Deuce out here. He goes through the pass protection drills, and he does everything. He's working on the punt pro as a PP. So I mean, we want to see the value of these guys, regardless, but how they fit to playing here in Dallas. I mean, that decision was decided when we brought them in here.
Mike, you told us, I think, in June about you want your quarterback to take ownership and have ownership of the offense.
Yeah.
With the changes that you guys have put in, whether big, small, whatever, how is Dak on all that?
I mean, how do you think he is? I mean, he's built for this. It's an approach I've always taken as a coordinator. I think it's so important, as a play caller and them quarterbacks to be connected. And, if you want to give them more responsibility at the line of scrimmage, that investment starts, back in the off-season program, and I thought he knocked it out of the park, during those, during the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and now we're working it. So yeah, he's taking complete ownership of the offense, and you have to. I mean, because he's the one out there playing, and he has the best seat. And the reason why I've always done it that way is, everybody wants to have some level of responsibility for the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. And my view has always been he's in the best seat in the house, and not to take advantage of that. It's probably not the best thing. When you get to these Sunday games, but more importantly, when you play against these top defenses. So you got to be able to take advantage of things, but most importantly, we have to train in that realm. And for him to train and perform in that realm, he has to take ownership of it. And I think all the quarterbacks have done a really nice job of that.
So you're trying to see the game through his eyes, not him trying to see the game through your eyes.
I wouldn't say that. No. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a nice quote for your story, but that's not it. So that's that's not the that's not the goal.
Anything else? That's it. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.